The most powerful force on earth is a human soul on fire. You have a deep ache in your soul for something more, to come alive, to let your passion pour from you like an endless well. When your passion comes alive, the magnificence buried deep inside of you is unleashed. Gifts and talents you never realized surface as your life unfolds like poetry. You can do hard things. I can show you how. This is Thrive Yoga Fit Transformational Coaching, where I teach you how to heal yourself from the inside out. Hello, welcome back to Thrive Yoga Fit Transformational Coaching. This is Erin. Hey y'all, so I'm so happy to be back in Florida. Oh my God, I've been traveling the past 10 days, but my cup overfloweth. I have seen my entire family. And I went to San Diego, and then I went to New Jersey, and my skin was just so chapped just from all the dry and the cold. And so Matt and I, on the way back from the airport, I rolled down the windows and I was sticking my arms out the windows oh, the air feels like lotion because it's all moist. So I am super happy to be back in my studio, super happy to be back to some sense of routine and back to unpacking and getting our house organized in the place that we just moved into, which is 5 minutes from my studio. I walked to work today. It was awesome. So I wanted to share a couple of Japanese concepts with you that might help you to enhance your life. Some of these you may have heard of, others you may not have heard of, but just have a listen and see if this is something maybe you can apply to your life. So the first one is ikigai. Ikigai, discover your purpose in life. So ikigai is determining the reason why you are motivated in life. Something that aligns with your strength, your passion, and the needs of the world. And it is said in ikigai that this gives your life meaning. 100% agree with this. Actually, my late uncle, Dennis Garrity, one of the best pieces of advice he gave me was, he said, listen, don't go to college to, figure out something to make you money. He said, choose a subject that you're passionate about, something you're interested in, and everything else will come. So I think within reason, that's true, but certainly finding something you're passionate about. My dad, when he talks about working with the autistic children he does, he's filled with life. He comes alive and it's inspiring. And I know that for me, when I talk about yoga and life coaching and helping people grow, I know that stirs something deeply inside of me. And so why not? Arguably, at least in this incarnation, you only live once. So YOLO, do what you're passionate about. So shikite ga nai. Let go of what you cannot change. Recognize that there are some things are just out of your control, and that's okay. Let go and focus on what you can change. Sound piece of advice. So shikita ganai. I think I pronounced it a little bit weird at first. Brushing up on my Japanese. This is a concept that is probably a little bit more common. It's called wabi-sabi. Not to be confused with wasabi, but wabi-sabi. Finding peace in imperfection. Because perfection is an illusion, but recognizing that nothing in life is perfect, including you and others. And if we can accept that, then we can be more peaceful, right? If you expect yourself to be perfect, if you expect others to be perfect, and then they're not, well, that's going to create tension in your brain, and you're going to try to figure out how I can solve that problem. But if you just accept, things aren't perfect, people aren't perfect, and hey, I'm not perfect, it sort of takes the pressure off. And instead of striving for flawlessness, you're finding joy in the imperfections that make life unique. And that's where art is born. And that is where, we can express ourselves from a divine place because we don't have judgment around it. So next one is kaizen. I think this is a more popular Japanese concept. And kaizen is about always seeking to improve all areas of your life, but in incremental changes. So if you do things in like small 1 or 2% changes, that's where it adds up, as long as you can be consistent with it. So kaizen is about like changing up what you're doing and trying to improve, but not from a place of shame, or at least that's the idea behind it. You want to do it because like you're growing and evolving as a person, as a human being, rather than like shaming who you are in the moment, but just knowing that life is a practice. And hopefully we can make some progress along the way. Okay. The last thing I want to share with you is shuhari. Shuhari. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. When the student is truly ready, the teacher will appear. Tao Te Ching. So shuhari is a way of thinking about how to learn and master technique. So if you can contemplate something and just kind of stay with it, the process becomes intimate. So when you do that, you understand it from more than just your mind. You understand it from the intelligence of your body and the, profound wisdom of the present moment to infuse whatever you're doing. So if you can understand concepts in that way, martial arts is a good example. Understanding a technique, not just with your mind, but also with your heart, that's when you fully understand an element. So hopefully that makes sense. I hope that you have a fantastic week. I know that we're kind of in that weird spot between Christmas and New Year's. It just seems like you're floating around, and so hopefully you're directing yourself in some way to where you feel fulfilled and you're not getting into too much trouble, and you're giving yourself, some rest and maybe some reflection and preparation for this new year so that you can be a fucking badass come next year. And, I am around for support if you need a coach. I have 1 or 2 spots available. Usually this time of year is when I get emails flooding in. I have 1 more spot left for Costa Rica. So if you're interested in that, I'm doing a 200-hour yoga teacher training in Costa Rica, right outside of San Jose and Santa Ana, with about 18 people. So the breakfast and lunch are included. We rented out a giant mansion. And I get to go over yoga techniques, coaching techniques, get coached by me. Like, it's going to be a blast. Also, we're going to a volcano, a sloth sanctuary, and a water park. So if all of that just is like, wow, that sounds amazing, reach out to me, Erin at erincoach.com. Again, 1 spot left, and we have 1 spot available for the waiting list. I think that's it. Have a fantastic day. Namaste.
Thank you so much for listening. If you want to support the podcast and if it's helping you, please consider writing a review. You can go to iTunes or Google Play, go into the search bar and type in Thrive Yoga Fit Transformational Coaching, scroll down, and you can leave a review. This helps other people to find me as well as bumps us up in the search ratings. Also, this podcast is sponsor-free, so that means we don't receive anything for doing it. If you feel so inclined and this podcast is helping to support you and you want to return the favor and help to support any production costs of the podcast, feel free to give a donation to a Venmo link, Thrive Yoga Fit, or PayPal, Erin at erincoach.com. If you don't have the means, don't worry about it. We're not going anywhere. You're all good. But if you would like to give back, you can give back in those ways. Last thing, we have a coaching certification coming up, and it's 7 days of an intensive work, followed by a 3-month mentorship. You will not find another teacher that's more passionate and dedicated than I am to my students and their learning. and not just their learning, but the application and how they show up in their life. If you've been listening to this podcast and it's had a huge impact on your life, just imagine what it would be like to spend 7 intensive days with me and then a 3-month mentorship. You can check that out at thriveyogafit.com/coach-certification. Again, thriveyogafit.com/coach-certification. Thank you so much. Namaste.